When it comes to teaching others, no matter who or how many people you're teaching, the best outcomes happen when we teach to our strengths and their strengths. Welcome to the Drew Coaching Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 1, Strengthen Our Strengths. And we're focused on identifying, practicing, and sharing strengths. Drew Coaching is a community of leaders and creatives who are shaping the future. My name is Eric Drew, and I want to welcome you to Season 2 of the podcast. This season is all about raising up the leadership of others, and so each week in 10 minutes or less, we'll learn something related to teaching, mentoring, and coaching. I hope you'll practice all week. This is how we shape the future. If you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. Welcome. We've added listeners on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and so if you hear something helpful, please share with your friends. If you visit drewcoaching.online, you'll find the show notes. I also share some additional questions, ideas on TikTok, Instagram, and I'd love to connect with you there. It would mean a lot to me if you stay plugged in with us by following, liking, or subscribing. So let's dive into our content for this week. Our growth focus for the week is identify, practice, and share strengths. The best way to achieve your goals, hopes, and dreams is by teaching, mentoring, and coaching others. We'll spend time with each of these in this season of the podcast, and this month we're exploring the key practices when it comes to teaching. Here's the definition I'm using of teaching. Teaching is sharing knowledge and skills in practical ways to equip learners for effective implementation. As you can probably tell from the definition, I care a lot about teaching in ways that allows others to implement what they're learning. The goal of teaching isn't just to fill brains with knowledge. The goal is for those you're teaching to be able to use what they've learned. For the first lesson on teaching and all week, I want you to focus on and practice optimizing your strengths and other strengths. Some people will help you identify weaknesses or point out what they aren't very good at, and they'll tell you need to grow or spend a lot of time to get better. But I want you to start by identifying and investing in strengths. Invest in your strengths and help others invest in their strengths. To find your niche, your greatest growth, to be happier, to have the greatest impact, focus on strengths, not weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. If you're not convinced that you can teach others or you're in a place to teach others, first, I want you to identify, practice, and share what you're good at with the world around you. When we identify what we're good at and do more with it, opportunities will come to share with others. This is one of the easiest and best ways to just start teaching those around you. Now, if you're a teacher or a trainer in some capacity, make sure you're incorporating and optimizing your strengths. Don't just get caught up in the curriculum. What you bring to the curriculum is what's going to make it come to life for your students or those you're working with. Now, if you don't see yourself as a teacher yet or often, starting to grow in and share your strengths is one of the easiest and best ways to start. Wherever you're stepping into teaching to grow your impact and the impact of others, don't start with what you're bad at. Your greatest growth and impact will always begin with what you're good at. Identify, practice, and share that. Then, I want you to focus on the strengths of others. I know it's easier to point out and see our own weaknesses and the weaknesses of others. Our society, and oftentimes our brains, loves to start with criticism and seeing the problems. But I am telling you, your best impact and the mark we want to leave on the world will come from growing strengths, not trying to fix or get a little bit better at something we can't or won't be great at. When we're thinking of teaching others, whether you're naturally in a teaching role or you just care about making those around you better, keep your eyes open for what people are good at. Then invite them to share it. If you think back to some of your favorite teachers in life, I bet they helped you to identify your strengths and encourage you to grow in those areas. Sure, we'll need to share additional knowledge and address growth areas for people. But I am telling you, by focusing on the strengths of others, they and you and the world will have a positive impact and be better off. So this week, I want you to identify, practice, and share our strengths. Your strengths and the strengths of others. This is going to feel a little bit countercultural. So many of us and the world around us see weaknesses, criticize, and engage negatively. We're shaping the future to be better. We know that by focusing on the strengths, we will have the greatest impact. So here are a few application questions as you focus on identifying, sharing, and practicing strengths this week. What is something that you are great at? How might you share that with others? And do you naturally see the positive or the negative in situations and people? What might shift so that you start to see strengths, gifts, and the positive in those around you? Hey, I'm so grateful that you're part of our community through the podcast and journeying with us to shape the future. Because I appreciate you and your leadership, and because I care a lot about making us better and teaching, I'm sharing a free mini course at drewcoaching.online. It's called Leadership Creativity Impact Essentials, and it's designed for leaders and creatives to grow their impact. It's free, and you can probably complete the content and the videos in 30 minutes or less. So far, people are saying it's really helpful, so I would love for you to check that out and let us know what you think. Also, if that's interesting to you, or if you learned something there and you want to go deeper, for this month only, I'm running a 50% off sale, my full course, Leadership plus Creativity equals Impact, a framework to refine purpose, elevate performance, and shape the future. If that sounds exciting to you or your team or your organization, you can get more information on that also at drewcoaching.online. Thanks for checking it out. Hey, you're a leader, you're creative, the world needs your voice. So identify, share, and practice strengths. While you're doing it, raise up others, bring hope to life. We're in this together.